Hey everyone, this is Nitro. In this video, I'm going to talk about the latest major update released on February 24th, which is Set Sail on the Ship of Hope. So, just going to talk about the various things that have been added with this update. And first of all, in the training ground, there are two new soldiers. The first one is under Archer and Assassin. It is in the Elite Training 2 section, and it's this Siege Ballista. So what it does is multiple things. First of all, it increases units' normal attack range by 1. Secondly, they naturally have an attack increase of 20%. And third, if they did not move before battle, attack is increased by another 15%. So that's a 35% attack increase if they don't move. And lastly, if they do move more than 3 blocks on a single turn, so let's say you trigger Breeze or something, then damage dealt in battle is decreased by 30%. So this is actually an amazing soldier overall because it affects a wide variety of characters, and it increases all of these characters' range by 1. So just a great soldier if you use any of these characters under its detailed list. It's really the only soldier that increases range and also has an attack increase. Like what I mean by that is those old catapults, right? When attacking, unit damage is decreased by 10% by comparison. So they naturally lose damage, right? And they don't have any kind of attack increase. So compared to the old catapults, this is just a massive improvement. That's why I already have them maxed out. The second new soldier with this update is under the Flyer and Aquatic section. It's these new mechanical Dragon Knights under Elite Unit Upgrade 2. So these ones are more interesting. They have an attack and defense increase, and it will cap out at 30% attack and defense increase. But they're inherently a more defensive soldier because when attacked with a melee attack, physical damage taken is reduced by 30%. So it's only 70% right now. At level 10, it should be 30%. So in a lot of ways, you can say it's like an improvement on the Griffin Knight, right? Because they get the same attack and defense increase, but they also have a survivability bonus. So yeah, I mean, the thing that you should probably focus more on for these mechanical Dragon Knights is which characters can bring it. So if you do use one of these characters, it's an option. All things considered though, it's primarily, in my opinion, for the new Ares. Like, most of these other characters aren't particularly used in my opinion, or they have other soldier choices. So yeah, this is less of a crucial one. I feel like it's more of a nice to have rather than a must have for the mechanical Dragon Knights. But interesting nonetheless. It's important to know pretty much everyone who has access to the mechanical Dragon Knights also has the Griffin Knight. So it's like it's more of a slight improvement rather than a must-have. Once again, right? Luna is here, Emmerich, Lance that I saw, Alte Muller, Varna, Emperor Lovina, Toa. I think the only one that's not there is, if I take a look again, Ashram, more or less. So, yeah. So those are the two new soldiers. Next is, of course, the new exclusives in the Secret Realm store. And they are the newest ones listed here. Listel and Sissy White. So, as always, if you use the hero, these things are always great to have. I don't use either of these heroes, so I don't really plan to buy either one. This pretty much sums it up. The third new addition is Kingdom of the Aurora. There is now Midgard for a new, I guess, covenant or god to summon. And this one is going to be a more defensive oriented one, Heimdall. So From my knowledge, what he's really good for is because he's defensively oriented, you generally don't bring him, but there are a few battles where he's great. I believe he prevents... he is really good for one of the Ancient Beckoning battles, Hugin and Munin. So I believe what he does is he prevents the attack and into reduction effects and so on. So you're going to want to build him up if you want a max score run on Hugin and Munin. If you're just aiming for the S rank, he's not absolutely required, right? Because you can just bring someone that has mass attack like Varna instead. But nonetheless, I'll definitely be unlocking him over time, because if nothing else, he gives more Twilight Auroras. Another thing that has been added with this major update is in the Floating Realm, there is now a new building. The Counterclockwise Tower. So I'm going to just start constructing that, because it's the very first construction level does not need any mana ore, and it takes 4 hours. So I'm just going to click on it, and what it does is basically if you don't have Clock of Forgiveness purchased, you get 1 rollback attempt. Okay, so even if you don't have Clock anymore, you can roll back once. Okay. As for every level you increase it, if you have Clock of Forgiveness, the number of attempts for rolling back increases. So very good for if you're going to make another attempt on Ancient Beckoning, for example. Right? More rollback attempts makes more chance to get a higher score. And if you don't have Clock of Forgiveness, only when it hits level 6 do you get a second rollback attempt. Okay. So, but nonetheless, 2 rollback attempts for free is not bad to have. It's just that it'll take a lot of resources to raise it to level 6. So it's not a high priority upgrade. Right? Just get it built for free to plays. For those who do have Clock of Forgiveness, they may want to steadily upgrade it just to get more attempts. But I don't know, I just feel you generally don't use all the attempts you get with clocks. But the Ancient Beckoning might be the one battle where you win. So I'm just gonna activate all of this stuff for now and move on. And there's a bunch of, I guess, quality of life updates that they added. First of all, probably most important to most people, is in the guild store, there is no longer a limit on class materials at all. So you can buy them as much as you want now, no longer limited every week. There is still a limit on the Bond Seed, Bond Flower, Bond Feather, and Heart Bond items, but the only one that you'll probably hit a limit on is the Bond Seeds. So the other 3, it's very rare that you'll hit the 10 out of 10 weekly limit. But they're making it so that as long as you have guild medals, you can buy as much as you want, which is a good thing. Another quality of life update they added is in the bonds page. So here, what they've done is there's now a Gate of Fate section that shows characters that you've recently farmed the Gates of Fate of. So I'm currently building up both Curtis and Werner. They show up here. So you can more easily continue farming them, I suppose. This is not really the screen I use for farming them, but it's here nonetheless. Right? I normally go through the hero page. The other thing they've added is for the intimacy section, there is now a filter. Because there's now so many heroes here, you can now filter by faction to more easily find your heroes. In addition, Mew now has a confession scene. You have to have her heart bond upgraded to level 10, of course, but if you do, you can now view the Lolly's confession. Whatever. Another adjustment they've added is, this one's less a quality of life, but they've changed the pricing on various items in the black market. Presumably they've reduced the cost of a whole bunch of things to make it maybe more tempting to buy these things. Realistically, I still feel that gold is by far the biggest limiting factor on your growth, right? Bonds are expensive. Training ground upgrades are super expensive. So why would you want to buy anything with gold from the black market? You don't, right? You really don't. But they have changed the pricing here. The final quality of life updates come from the floating city, where there's now a few more buttons here. You can now enter the arena directly from this section, and you can also enter Secret Realm from this section. So they make it, you don't have to constantly switch between the two screens as often anymore, because more of the buttons can now be seen here in the floating realm. And the other quality of life update that they've added, for what it's worth, in the store, in the extraction screen where you extract memories, you no longer see the extraction for the SR and SSR Divine Shards. In the first place, I don't think you can even select the extraction of those items, but they've just removed it from here. So, just simplifying this screen a little. Finally, let's talk about the events. First, there will be a new dimensional expedition, so it's worth mentioning because these battles start on the weekend, so there is still some registration time and whatnot before the battle actually begins, it looks like. Interesting. Registration time remaining. Does that mean I can wait for some people to join before I begin it? It'll be interesting to see. I'm a little bit confused because I could wait a few more days for people to join up, but we can see that the all the rewards here in Dimensional Expedition has already refreshed, and I'm sitting on some resources from the previous attempt, so I can quickly just claim a few items here, just like that. For example, I can claim the SSR accessory, a Slayer's emblem, whatever. So you can grab some resources right away if you have some sitting from the previous events. It's still SP Freya and SP Narm, so there is not the addition of Lewin's Heart of Desire here yet, but yeah, some decent items to just claim right away, because you can get some upgrades on gift packs for Anarchy items, SSR gear, so on and so forth. So it's well worth picking up these items. I'm just gonna claim it all right now, or at least the items, the equipment items. I will definitely pick up the special treasure hoards, although that can wait a bit. And yeah, there'll be more items I want for sure. So there's that refresh on Dimensional Expedition. Next, in the events, other than of course the share and the banner, there is a time-limited login event. So this lets you claim a reward every day. The first item is a skin for either Young Jessica or Jessica, Lolly Jess. Sorry, Young Jessica or Lolly Jess, and it's like a spacesuit skin. So claiming it on day one will get you that right away. The other 4 can be claimed anytime before the event ends. And it actually ends on March the 2nd, which is next week. So 5 days, you just need to log in and make sure you claim it before March the 2nd. So lots of time there. The Echoes of Light, of course, the Echoes of Light skins is the 2 new heroes, Emperor Lovina and Legal Lico, as well as the previous banner heroes, which is Elma and Cortez, and then finally 2 random heroes, which is Lana's skin, Meh, and Lanford's skin, also Meh. So the Legal Lico skin as well as the Elma skins are pretty nice though. Of course, I'm never going to buy an Echoes of Light, so I won't get those skins, but those are the rewards for the Echoes of Light. And I think that's everything I want to talk about in this video, right? Oh, one last thing before I end it. The very final thing is there is a new time rift, right? So Langrisser 5 End of Legend, there is this new time rift to do. My goodness, 6 battles here, 6 more battles in the elite mode, and I'll work through it slowly. Maybe like 3 battles a day to finish it up, something like that. So I'll be done by the end of next week is my basic plan there. Okay, so that is everything for this new major update. Thanks for watching, everyone. Nitro out.